broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for another AfterBuzz TV After Show for Justified, Season 6, Episode 11, Fugitive #1. I'm John Comerford, joined in the studio by Tamara Berg.
Hey everybody, you can tweet me at Tamara Berg.
And Stephen Bottomley.
Hey, you can tweet me at Bottomley Stephen.
Catherine, excuse me. I call her Kathy because they're so...
Because you're on such close
so
terms
Catherine
with her.
meets her demise. Okay, first of all, I didn't think we'd have her dying so quickly. I thought she'd be there until the finale, so that was a surprise.
I kind of did too.
So, but you know, you can't kill everybody off in the last episode because.
Oh, you could.
Yeah,
that's true. You could.
Where's that written?
You want to pace these things, right?
I suppose you do.
Okay, so for, so much in this episode. This was a very full episode. Very full. But anyway, I just wanted to start there because I don't know how you come back from that. I mean, how do you hold off not talking about that?
Yeah.
The whole thing, the Apocalypse Cannon playing, and then setting that up with the classical music from earlier when Mikey and Wynn are discussing things about how he wants the code shoved up his ass, so to speak. So the whole thing was very strange and weird and awesome. What did you think of the scene? Were you thrown by it? Were you like, whoa, wait, I wasn't expecting that. What was up?
No, I wasn't expecting it. Backing it up just a little with Wynn and Mikey in the scene that was before that, and Wynn saying, you know, he's trying to sort of negotiate with Mikey and going, "Do you want me to drive sometimes?"
Yeah.
Right.
I like one of my favorite lines was, okay, so you have a code, you're Billy Jack. For those of you who don't know, in the 70s, Billy Jack, it's a whole movie.
Classic movie character.
Exactly.
Yes.
But I do like the reveal. Finally, when Mikey blows it, he goes, "You were family."
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, oh, see, Wynn, you were like a father figure, you dick, and you didn't even know it.
Well, of course, how could he? When,
He's too self-absorbed and, you know, surfing and
But it pays off at the end there because when Mikey does, I mean, the last thing he asks is, "Will you hold me?" And he does. And it's like, whoa,
nice.
there's...
I have to say that, you know, it was kind of a moment where it could go either way if you're, because the death scene was so, you know, graphic, and there was so much going on with it that when he's there dying and he says, "Will you hold me?" I mean, depending on how you're looking at it, it could look ridiculous and you could laugh at it. But of course, because I'm a tender-hearted soul, you, having blackness in your heart, may not have taken it that way. But I choked up. Pardon the
Well, no, I did too,
but
because you first of all, you don't expect to, because it's Wynn, and you don't really think of him or see him ever having any kind of humanity or caring.
No.
Well, they did a couple of things to set you up for that. First of all, when Wynn is under the table, he's yelling at Mikey. You know, he's like trying to get Mikey to stop. He's to me, Mikey's always been Wynn's trained dog.
Yes.
And now he's trying to protect his dog from getting killed.
Yeah.
So there was that moment. And then the classical music playing. So those two things kind of set up the fact that, you know, it's okay to go there. It's okay to, you know, and plus, what's better than having a big old tough guy finally just go, you know, "I'm scared, I'm afraid."
Well, I mean, it reminded me. We talked a lot about this season about, you know, because Ty Walker and the Seabass, they were in the sandbox, even Choo Choo, and it's very common when you're shot out there and you just want somebody.
You don't want to be alone.
They talk about World War II veterans and they want their mom, all that kind of stuff, and. So, yeah, big tough guy like that. But let's set up the whole thing, because I love the fact that they started with the classical music and the setup scene, when, you know, and the whole, and you think it's just Mikey's finally getting this, you know, be in charge. So this is what he listens to, of course. Yeah. But that's all just, well, in my mind, but it works so nicely to set up the Apocalypse Canyon, because, like, who would think that would be an interesting song, a piece to pick for that violence? But it was great juxtaposition. You normally hear it as brides walk down the wedding aisle.
You can't discount that music, because if everything that Mikey does from in that scene has to have a root somewhere. If Mikey were listening to hip hop or anything else, you'd go, Yeah, that makes the fact that he's actually listening to classical music. It just says, no, I'm much deeper than you think. I'm thinking about things. I'm not an idiot.
And not only that, for me, it comes off of the other thing where you said we played tennis. You know, remember a couple of episodes ago, he's talking about tennis.
He dated.
You would never expect Mikey to play tennis of all sports, but he's playing tennis, which makes
the way he greets Catherine.
Yes.
And she says Michael, Catherine, very, very, you know, and he's very like.
By the way, he doesn't call him Mikey.
No.
Michael.
Evidently, they talked.
Yes, Catherine's aware.
And again, that's such a small little thing. So obviously, there's a back conversation that all you need is that one Michael and damn, you guys know.
And then the shoot, the way Avnet shot it, John Avnet was the director of this particular episode. You see that her legs, her feet stepping up into the RV and everything like that. And the Paco Bell's cannon is playing. It's like, oh, this is not going to go well.
Now, did you expect somebody get dead in this? And that it would be but did you think it was going to be You didn't.
No. I thought for sure it was going to be Wynn. Because just like she took out Seabass, I mean, and let's face it, I think one of the reasons why they set up the Seabass thing, because you didn't have to have Seabass come back. They showed that to show how ruthless Catherine can be. So when she steps in there and the Paco Bell's cannon is playing, I'm thinking, oh boy, this is going to be bad for Wynn. But in the back of my mind, I'm going, but Wynn is a cockroach. He's never ever going to die. He's always going to survive.
So true.
That's exactly what I was thinking was happening. I'm like going, damn, I don't see a way out for you, dude.
Exactly,
but
and he's handcuffed.
Down.
Exactly, and that's what I thought was great about the scene because you weren't. I mean, she's so ruthless. Yeah, she's going to take him, but there's no way he's going to get her raison d'etre was to kill whoever sold out Grady. So but it's Wynn, and somehow he finds a way. It's like a cockroach in a holocaust, a nuclear holocaust.
He gets out by being Wynn. He didn't grovel.
No.
He didn't, try to. All he did is he
told her the truth.
Exactly. What Mikey saw was Wynn saying, "This is who we are.
Yeah.
This is how we are."
Yeah,
and he saw that. And then when he says to her. You just said this. You just said that this is the thing I
Mikey,
should do.
Yeah, it was great. And Wynn's argument to her, he goes, look, I did you a favor. He is, he kind of did in some respects.
Yeah.
But she has a code too.
She has a code too, exactly.
You
Everybody
protect
has their
your
codes.
partner and you avenge them against people who do them wrong, and that is something I strongly believe in.
Which is a great turn for Mikey to be able to, because I was looking at how are you going to get Mikey out of this? How are you going to get Mikey to step in? And what a way to do it, using her. And then he just uses the argument with her.
And it worked well right up to a point.
Yeah, okay, not now. Not now, Mikey. Not in this instance.
Mikey took more shots than Charlie Sheen at an open bar.
Oh, my God.
Mikey took more shots than Kobe Bryant in a championship game.
Okay. I'm just sure that we got one more.
Hey, Mikey took more shots than Don Rickles at a cosplay convention.
All right.
Thank you. That's
moving on.
Older. Okay, here we go. We're moving on.
Wow.
All right, but then let's just talk about the actual scene. I don't know how they choreographed this. I don't know how difficult, but it was well staged, well shot. Yeah, I mean, so many shots and angles and everything like that. But it cut together so smoothly. I think there was only one shot that confused me for a second.
It was just because, I watch these things through my hands.
That's right.
And so I actually missed one portion of a second where the hole was, up above and the Mikey's blood was pouring out.
So it was the hole in the table.
It was the hole in the table, but I didn't interpret that because we had seen him, his blood go on the ceiling, and for some reason I thought that blood was coming through the ceiling. It was not their fault. It was my fault because I watched those scenes through my fingers.
I was just loving the whole exchange, the whole setup with her being, kind of like you're awfully flipped for someone who's about to die, and Wynn being so defiant in a sense, and matter of fact and pragmatic, and saying, "Hey, this is what the whole thing." And then when Mikey steps in and using the argument again, and then all hell breaks loose, and she has no problem shooting Mikey.
Yeah.
How many shots did he take?
I don't know. I didn't actually
count.
Around
7.
And they were all like hardcore body shots. They were not like one didn't go through his bicep. No. They were hardcore shots.
And it was great in that sense because meaning great TV because then Mikey being we didn't know how much fortitude Mikey has until now.
We did not.
Or excuse me, Michael. But I was also thinking, hey, Catherine, didn't you learn anything with Seabass? One in the head, buddy.
Yes.
One in the head. That's
all it takes.
Of course, it's kind of hard to do when somebody's roughing you up like that. To pick her up and slam her down on the table, that was I mean,
it was shocking, actually, to see her be so manhandled.
Yeah, but Catherine, too, but again, going back to what Avery said at the early second episode of the season, is that women are tough. They have to be more tough. And here I was going, this proves that this, I mean, of course, she, ultimately dies.
Yeah, and that's what I really liked about it was as morbid, the race to death.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mikey had a job to do,
exactly.
and if he didn't do the job, she had a bullet left for Wynn.
Yeah.
And that's why Wynn screaming out to Mike the whole time. That's why it was such a great moment right there. But absolutely, I mean, you're going to play with that game.
You got Pocahontas Cannon playing. You got such violence. You got him, Wynn screaming, and I'm just going. And it was kind of choreographed, and I'm just. This is amazing.
One of the other things, in the Graham Yost postmortem, he talked about John Avnet really wanted to make this a memorable scene, which he obviously did.
Sure.
But they discussed the fact that they had some constraints because, John Avnet pitched the idea. Yeah. Exactly. Pitched the idea of throwing one of them out the window.
That would have been awesome. Mikey throwing her out the window. That would have been fun.
But, there are budgetary constraints to that. Yeah. And they're coming to the end of the series.
They have to return the RV.
They do have to return the RV.
Deposit back.
Yeah.
A few bullet holes.
Enough we have to clean up the blood.
Oops.
Wow.
That there were, and they talked about how there were longer versions of this fight, and several people took people. I know, right? Wow. Several people took kind of stabs at it. Pardon the usage of the word. Took a shot at it to see if they could shorten it and change some certain things. And anyway, so this is what we ended up with.
And it was very effective.
Do you know how long it took them to shoot it?
No.
I didn't.
Maybe we can find out.
Right. So we'll find out. We'll ask VJ next week when he's here.
Yeah, remember VJ Boyd's going to be with us next week.
A little promo for you next week. VJ Boyd.
Yes, producer and writer. He has written episode 12, which is coming up.
So we can talk to him about that as well. And we might have an extra special actor guest
who we can't quite name yet.
We haven't named it yet.
But it's someone who has not been on our show before.
VJ Boyd's our special guest, and we'll have a second special guest, hopefully.
Someone who's not been here before. You guys are going to love it.
I will say that if I were Mikey, that's an awfully cool way to leave.
Oh, I know. I mean, great for him. I mean, here's a character and an actor, by the way, who was just supposed to be a one-off. Wasn't even supposed to be anything. It's kind of like, and he's had... I mean, how many great scenes, and especially this series, this particular season, I should say, had a great run. And what a way to go out! I mean, and two things, and also Catherine. One of the reasons it's well publicized. One of the reasons that Mary decided to do it, she wanted to make sure she got to kill somebody, and she wanted a good death scene.
Great death scene.
And it's like, okay,
done.
Yeah, it's like Graham Yost held to his word.
And she got to speak French.
Yeah,
but at the very end, this is the other thing I really liked. When and he's shaking, and he's like, I'm thinking, he's like, I don't know why I'm still alive. I don't know how any of this happened. Oh my God, ooh, jewelry.
Oh, I know. It's so classic. And I went, okay,
and he just kind of pauses. I'm like, you're gonna finish the phone call, right?
And even the whole thing, I'm going, I didn't know what he was reaching for, and I was like, and then the phone comes out, and then when he sees the jewelry, I go, okay, we're back to Window.
Right.
It's like, he had a momentary part of humanity, and we're back to Window.
Exactly. And his line was one of my favorite lines from the show, or today's show, which was 911. What's your emergency? I'm not sure where to start.
It's a great thing. So he's going to take the tennis bracelet and the ring, and because he's a cockroach, and that's how he survives. He's opportunist.
Of course,
absolutely. I mean, it's like, well, if I've survived this, I mean, he's going to think he's luckier than crap, right? So, because he should not have survived that. So, and again, I can't go on too much about it, but I will. I just want to talk just a little bit more about the moment when Mikey is dying, and he actually, the whole thing. And it's like, how do they get you to care for when and that moment? I mean, obviously you're caring about Mikey because he seems a bit, as odd as that whole exchange was. He was a stand-up guy, and since he was trying to protect somebody and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even though he ratted him out, so to speak. But also, you kind of are feeling for Wynn. He's actually, at least you're giving the guy the thing he needs on his way out.
I'm telling you, when he's calling out Mikey's name, he's trying to protect Mikey, and it's just the small little things that it registers.
Yeah.
Well,
because again, if you think of the scene of him just sitting there, you go, no, that turn doesn't make sense. Just like the classical music.
Yeah.
And I also think part of it is Wynn just found out that how much he meant to Mikey.
Right. Yeah. That's true.
So there has to be a certain amount of God, at least this kid's dying for me. I should give him a little something.
But it's not only that. The thing about it was, because there was no time involved for even to see that turn, it seemed like it was real genuine at that moment.
Right.
Of course, it didn't last very long.
No.
He's a tennis player.
And then,
And then he calls 911, and I'm thinking, that was a weird. I wasn't expecting him to call 911.
He's got to cover his ass somehow. And,
I know. It's like, what else can you do? He doesn't have Mikey. Who's going to clean it up for him?
He's got 2 dead bodies.
Yeah.
And
So,
plenty of evidence saying that he was not
didn't do it.
involved.
He's got no powder burns.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So that again,
And
he's a survivor,
right?
And that's what. And I was just thinking,
and Raylan knows the whole game
of
now,
course.
so it's not. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, through the 6 seasons, right? 6 seasons.
Yeah.
How many times have we written Win Duffy off as like, well, I can see that in another show.
Exactly.
There's no way he's surviving this thing.
Well, I think earlier in the season, I think I said the only one that could survive Harlan is Win, because he's the only
I think you
cockroach.
did, yes.
So. All right, we got to move on to other stories, but we'll stick with this part of it, which is the whole Catherine Avery.
Oh my goodness!
Just talking about Catherine now. Obviously, before she goes to kill Win, we have the scene where. Now this is after last week when Avery finds out that she's set the whole thing up with Boyd. So now we have that scene in the hotel room, and she's on the phone with Mikey, and Mikey's explaining everything, that Win's the rat and he has him and all that other stuff. Then that scene. Now again, I'm just going, okay, I didn't know what was going to happen in that scene either, because it looked like, okay, all kinds of things. She goes for her purse. First of all, she goes for the purse.
Yes.
And he pulls it away because we remember what was in the purse last time.
I know what's in that purse.
And this is a brand new purse, so who knows what's in it now, right? So, and he certainly does. So I'm going, oh yeah, that's right. So the tension's already way high.
Right.
She's not expecting him to be there. And the whole grabbing of the purse and he pulling it away. And then the whole weird talk about love and trust.
I've always loved you, but I didn't trust you. Would it be so bad living together and not trusting each other like every other couple in the world?
Yeah. Like,
what?
But were you not expecting that hand to get tighter and tighter when he's got it around her neck, all caressing and loving?
No one's ever grabbed me in the front of my neck in a loving way.
In a loving way, yeah.
No.
Yeah. So you didn't never get the feeling that it was a love caress.
I did not feel that in this moment.
But I thought it was very cool though, because she was kind of like in this submissive role of like, I suppose you can if you want to. I got
snap my neck.
Yeah, snap my neck, whatever. And she's still being very honest.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of goes back to the other thing about honor among thieves that they say in the jail thing. Yeah. Like, okay, this is the only way this relationship is going to work. Which
Absolutely.
is, I honestly tell you I don't trust you.
Right.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't trust you.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
go get
Well,
married.
at least we know that. Every couple has issues. Right?
They have their wedding gifts picked out.
Nobody's perfect.
Right, they do.
Yeah.
Win's head.
Very sweet.
And
And
it
in
was
a
heart.
Tiffany box.
We'll ask VJ, maybe he knows, but I don't know if it was in the script or the choice by Sam Elliott to actually put his hand on her throat in that way, because yes, it was threatening, but it was still so much on the line that you're going, okay, that could be, because it was a soft grab. You know what I mean? It was just a great choice.
What he was saying with that, if it's intentional, what I was picking up was, I can kill you anytime.
Absolutely, I'll snap your neck.
And she's like, yeah,
While I
know.
love you, and I love you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I do love you.
Exactly.
And she's like, yeah, I'm good with that.
Right.
Well, and her big love declaration,
at the end there,
her giddy giggle, I do love you, comes off of him saying, I'm going to give you Win's head.
I think she might have had a little mini dip when he said that, because and then it seemed very, very.
And also the other one, right after that, when she declares her love like that, which seems genuine in a very weird, flirty kind of schoolgirl way,
and then
he says from his back, "Yeah, love you too, love you too."
Love you too,
Yeah,
which is different from
totally different.
I love you too.
Absolutely.
I just want to
I'm still
state for the
going,
record that's different.
Oh, that's way different. That's a guy like just trying not to say I love you. That's like
LUV,
yeah, exactly.
the number 2.
That really is one step above an emoticon, basically.
If he could have, he would have given her an emoji.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it seems like it was just the punctuation point of "I don't trust you." That's to me, that's all that said. And that whole scene, I'm going, you think at any moment either one of them would kill the other if they needed to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but I also love the part that was such great contrast was the fact that they're talking about, in a way, their future, meaning, can't we live together? I was like,
how awesome is our wedding gonna be? Am I right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. How come else can't? Oh,
crazy,
no,
right?
We're not gonna have that at the wedding.
Very conflicting, but very just extremely well written and well acted scene, and congratulations to them, because at this point, I'm just going. All I care about is I just watch.
That, you know what? I had to watch it twice and make notes because the first time it's when you see those two work, you know, you just watch and just get sucked into it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll talk more about Avery later when we talk about Raylan. But let's go to the Boyd storyline because we first meet him, of course,
in the hospital.
Okay, it was a squib hit, evidently. Yeah. Okay.
it shattered on his collarbone or shattered his collarbone. I don't remember
right away, the doctor says it's what we like to call one lucky son of a bitch. Like, yep, that's Boyd.
The second time, but he's one lucky son of a bitch. So. And of course, the doctor says you'll be fine, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And Raylan's there. And they have this great sequence in there about disappointment and, you know, let's go, take me out of here and let's settle this like we need to and all that kind of stuff is all fun.
Right, telling us sort of, you know, setting the tone for the finale.
Because you can see this time, you know, a lot of times we see all the angst and anger and resentment underneath everything. This time it wasn't as hidden, as veiled as it usually is. It was like, I think Boyd really wanted to just get it done because he's just so low right now. I mean, obviously Avery just shot him. Who's his friend? He's in the hospital.
He's wearing a dress, for God's sake.
Yeah. So and
cuffed to a bed.
That's what hurts him the most.
Yes.
But they start talking about Ava, and I love that Raylan realized this is the pressure point here. I mean, even though she shot him, he's still he's pushing that, squeezing that because look, Boyd, you're gonna let her hang out there and hope what happens if Avery gets her and
wondering what they're gonna do to her. Maybe, and he says maybe she's got that coming.
Yeah.
And Raylan says, and you're cool with that? Them serving out their retribution however they see fit.
Yeah.
And he kind of was okay with that.
Well, he says
no, you're right.
Acts like he is.
You're right.
Because he's keeping up the front, but as soon as Raylan starts to leave, he changes his tune rather quickly, and for no reason. I mean, it's not. I think he was serious when he was doing. Yeah, he tells him about Zachariah because Raylan's right. I don't. And I'm just going out on record as saying that I think he really does love her, and I think he really doesn't want anything to happen to her. And it's not just about the money, and it's not just because he wants to exact his own retribution. I think he doesn't want Avery or anybody to get her.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he's the only one that loves her because Raylan looked really pissed when he was talking, when Boyd was talking about not caring about harm coming to Ava.
Yeah,
he did.
I mean, he looked angry, and so when that in that whole back and forth is with you. What about this? What about that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was glad to see that turn at the very end.
Yeah.
Where
when he says about Zachariah and stuff.
Yeah,
like that,
because you're right. He's concerned about Ava as Ava, and not necessarily just the money. Two guys are
just butting heads like crazy in this particular scene, and at the end of the day, here she's gonna get. Who knows what can happen to her if Avery gets a hold of her? Clearly, he has no problem. He's burned. He's had people burned. He's had him shot. He's had all kinds of things. And if he's looking for the money, who knows what kind of torture he would wreak upon her?
Yeah.
So.
But she is the prettiest girl in Harlan.
That's true. So clearly, and fugitive #1 now.
Yes, she is.
So
I just want to say a real quick thing. I think Tim is a master at looking scornfully at people.
Yes, he is.
Whenever somebody says something that he thinks is stupid, he's like,
God.
"Oh, I wish I could do that, Jacob. That's a great look."
He does have a great look of scorn.
Yeah.
He says you're an idiot without doing a thing.
Yeah, it's nicely done.
So fun to watch.
Yeah. All right, so
might have to study that.
Because Avery's looking for his money and Ava and the whole thing. He figures out Boyd's in the hospital. How are we going to get Boyd? And he just buys off or pays off the prison guards and gets Carl. And the nice little scene there, and it's like, what is it so easy to bribe people in Harlan, especially in the prison system?
Apparently so.
Okay, well, I guess if you're Avery and you have that much money and you know the right people to talk to, yeah, it is.
I can't imagine the salary for a Harlan sheriff is going to be that high.
Yeah.
No.
So, and as we know from Raylan, any apple red shit kicker in Harlan is going to go for money,
right?
Or whatever the hell it is.
Right.
I can't remember the
Apple
exact
cheeked,
Apple cheeked, thank you. And it was something like that.
But that was a very now we're with Mark.
Well, I'm talking in the prison sequence. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool deal.
What's that? The scene
the way they set it up, yeah.
Oh, I like the part with Carl and Earl, actual brothers. Earl, the younger brother, stepping on the older brothers.
Hey man, I'm telling the story.
God damn it, Earl! No, ain't no honor among thieves. Crime does pay.
Stop interrupting my story. It seems like younger brother, older brother stuff like crazy.
Oh, okay. But when Boone walks in,
oh yeah,
with
First Avery walks in.
You know, and
that's my spaghetti western.
Thank you, Tamara.
Whistle.
I'm guessing we're going to be doing a whole. We're not doing this. Okay, so he is so wonderfully nuts.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my God! But you know, there's like a comfortable assurance in his crazy that you know Boone is just going to take her problems in his own way.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's just so fun to watch him live in a bygone era of this is how it worked. Mm-hmm. Right was right, wrong was wrong, and Jenny talks.
And might makes right. Yeah, Jenny talks.
Jenny talks.
Yeah, I love that. Has he used the name before? I didn't know that he called Jenny.
I didn't notice it before.
That's the first time I heard him call his gun Jenny. And where did that come from? I loved it, but it was
I've not heard it either. Yeah. But I do love the line, Jenny will blow Earl a kiss. I'm like, whoa, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a little Elmore Leonard right there.
Very nice. Very nice. So obviously, Carl has decided that, okay, Avery wants me to go take out Boyd, and if I don't, Earl dies. Okay.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, got to do it. And he's got good reason. He realizes that Boyd threw him under the bus and sold him out to the cops. So,
right.
All right. Even after everything's done for him. So that takes us to the hospital, of course. Now at the hospital, we have to get we have to get Raylan and Tim out of there, so they have to go on a manhunt looking for Ava.
Right.
So that leaves Nelson behind. Poor Nelson. Poor Nelson. Not the brightest bulb in the Marshal ceiling. So,
no, but ready for a cup of coffee at any point.
That's true.
You know.
What an easy way to get him out of the way. But okay, so we feel bad for Nelson because he's the one that's going to be holding the bag here when it turns out that, I don't know who the cop was that came in and got...
It was a C name. It was Blake Courtney, but that
was Deputy Nelson.
No.
I'm talking about the cop that came in that got Nelson to leave. Nelson was the guy who was looking after Boyd.
Oh, that was Nelson.
So, yeah.
I have that written down somewhere.
Anyway,
I'm sorry. Keep going.
So because Nelson takes off, and Carl comes in. Now, here, again, the scene with Carl and Boyd, Boyd's not going to get it. It's not going to get shot, but it was still... every time you see a gun to a head, you kind of go, that might... Especially in a Justified. You just don't know. You're not positive. I mean, I didn't think for a second, you can't kill Boyd, but I was like, that gun could go off. So, anyway, did it have that kind of tension for you?
Yeah, well, except that Boyd cares deeply about Carl and his brother Earl, as he said.
Yes.
He cares deeply about them.
Of course he does. And he was confused. Why are you pointing a gun at me? I'm infirm. It's like, I'm sorry. I didn't notice the tubes.
Or the bandages, or the dress.
Yeah,
there's Carl's stuck. You got history and you got family, and Boyd knows it, and Boyd went right to his soft spot. I think that's one thing Boyd will always know is the soft spot of people working for him.
And he's great at talking his way out. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. He always talks his way out of something.
Charming criminal.
Exactly, he's charming. And sociopath at all, because, of course, at the end of the sequence, that was a great sequence.
It was great.
All right, Carl believes him, finally unlocks the handcuffs or whatever.
Wait, but just before you say that, he offers him half of everything I put my hands on.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah,
Carl's
$5 million.
gonna fall for that? Just do it. Just unhooking handcuffs, and I've made $5 million.
He's an apple-cheeked.
I mean, instantly, I was just like, why don't you offer me a third, and I might believe you a little better, or even $1 million. I probably believe that more then. But no, Carl, he was an apple-cheeked Southern Harlan County boy.
I guess so.
Well, what are you going to do? You can't really kill Boyd, and if you walk out without Boyd dead, your brother dies.
Yes,
so
exactly.
So it's kind of like, okay, this is the only option I got.
Yeah. Well, but is it? Why don't you just shoot him, and therefore Earl wouldn't be dead? Because that's what Avery says. Kill him if you don't.
Yeah.
I'll kill him.
But and I'm sure that was his plan going in until Boyd says,
$5 million.
I got another plan here. How about this plan?
Do you think it's just was it the money, or was it does he like the idea of them sticking it to Avery? Was it just the money?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure that Carl actually believes they're going to survive being on Avery's bad side.
Right.
So, in the moment, I guess he's thinking, well, maybe he and Boyd can get to Avery. Maybe we can all just get the hell out of Dodge at one point.
Yeah.
I think he because it's Avery, he goes, look, we're not surviving this with Avery. Anyway, even if I kill Boyd, Avery's going to kill me and Earl. That's what I think. And I have a better shot of surviving with Boyd than I do with Avery.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
That's what I'm thinking.
And I got a better shot of getting Earl out of lockup. And
if I've got $5 million.
Well, if I've got Boyd, helping me clean up this mess.
All right. So, but bad decision all the way around. So it's a moot point. It was a really interesting discussion.
Seconds later, we find out.
How are we going to get out of here? Oh, it won't be hard with all this chaos. What chaos? Bang!
Yes.
It's like, what?
Yes.
Oh, that.
And again, I was like, yeah, okay, of course,
Yeah.
But it was a great, because it was just wonderfully written and wonderfully executed, pardon the pun. And a little flip of the hat, and the whole thing is like, okay, we're having fun. Justified.
And again, just as everything showed how. Okay, anyway, so it showed Boyd who he is, which we haven't seen in a little while.
And within a minute of each other, I care for you and your brother, blah, 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 blah. You're
deeply.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, he doesn't care about anything. He's a sociopath that he is, psychopath, whatever.
The little touch on that scene was the flip of the hat right onto his head.
Yeah.
Is like, I'm done, off I go.
Yeah.
So.
And of course I know how to work a Marshal's hat, because I'm Boyd and I know how to do things.
Well, he's straight running into enough marshals or cops.
Not a marshal.
Sorry, he was a statey, I think.
There was a lot of hat attention.
There was.
There
was discussions. There was flips. There was hats.
Perfectly appropriate for the two of you, I just want to say.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure where that goes.
On another note.
All right. That's right.
Yeah.
So let's talk further, because obviously now that Boyd is out, what, Tammy, you're noting something?
Just my next point.
Okay. So
the next time we see Boyd is in a cop car.
In a cop car, and a pickup truck drives by.
Yep.
And
Did you recognize that pickup truck?
I did not recognize that character, and you barely saw him. But obviously Boyd knows who he is.
I looked at it frame by frame to figure out who it was, and it wasn't anybody we know. Okay. It's a character that's going to come up and be important for the rest of the season. We'll meet him
next episode. So you're that actor that God, I'm justified.
No. Yeah,
he'll be in the next episode.
He will be instrumental.
VJ
in the next episode.
will talk. He'll tell us all about it because he's written the episode.
Yes.
So I'm
VJ
sure
Boyd is going to be on our show next week. Awesome.
Thank you for being excited about something you already know about.
Oh,
Tamara.
right. I know.
So,
good
so I have no idea what that's about. Who could he be? I mean, so many questions. I can't even hazard a guess.
Well, if you saw the coming ups, there was a whole crowd scene in the woods that involved a lot of hill-looking people. That guy may have been one of them. I don't know.
There was talk of Hill People season 2.
There's
right?
people in
the holler all the time.
Yeah,
okay.
so they're all over the place. So,
yeah, Groes was a moonshiner.
We're certainly learning what that's all about and see what Boyd's next play is, because that clearly is part of it. We just don't know how it's going to pan out yet. So, speaking of the Hill people, let's go talk about Ava and Zach and how they meet or try to meet their Hill person, being Groes.
Our buddy Groes.
So obviously Ava goes to Zachariah, and Zachariah finds a way to get the money up to the. Well, they start by going to the mine supply shack or whatever the heck it is, and. Because they're on their way to Groves, because Groves is the only guy that can find his way out of the holler with all the what were the trails, the moonshine trails. Is that what they're calling moonshine trails?
Yes.
And of course, all I really care about in this part is just getting them when they finally get to the shack. I just like Zachariah kicking the door in. And then
into Groove's shack.
Into Groove's shack. They finally get to Groove's, because the rest of it was it was fine and you needed it and it was interesting. But I just like that he. She goes, I guess we'll have to wait. No, that's called bang. He kicks the door in.
Yeah.
And of course, he says, what's that smell? And I'm going, come on, you don't know dead person smell? How do you not know that?
Yeah.
You live in Harlan County.
They've smelled that before.
But before that happened, I thought for sure that something was booby trapped, and that was the end of Zachariah.
The kick in of the door was going to be.
Grooves is like backwoods.
Yeah, you thought sure. Some punji sticks or something like that.
Exactly.
Harlan punji sticks.
Yes.
That would have been interesting. But no, he's just dead.
He's just dead.
He's just dead. Probably been that way for a while.
He's really, really dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's taking a Harlan nap.
He didn't leave Harlan alive.
Hashtag Harlan nap.
Grooves is now
when
Grubs.
when I teach you about how to use Twitter,
That's gonna be awesome.
I'll explain to you the hashtag Harlan Nap.
Oh my God! I can't wait. I got a hashtag.
We don't have much time left, so we have to talk Raylan because obviously this whole thing,
Okay.
Oh God.
I love the setup. The money's gone. Ava's gone from last week, and so Vasquez is pushing that like crazy. He thinks Raylan's in on it. He's had relations with Ava before. They conveniently shoot Boyd.
Vasquez
There's $10 million, and he thinks
he's going after everybody. I mean,
exactly.
He even
but he's got a great argument. He's got a great argument.
Yeah.
You convinced me to put him point. Meaning Rachel. He's talking to Rachel. Rachel, you convinced me to have Ray in that point, and I knew better because I've been trying to get him on all kinds of things early in the career a couple of years ago. Yeah, and that didn't work. And now look what's happened. They've absconded with $10 million, and they're running off.
Yeah, he says we've had to defend this guy on so many bad shootings. This is the time he doesn't pull his gun.
Exactly,
really?
which was a great. We were talking about that last week. He's like, why didn't
we were.
And so it works against Raylan.
Yes,
and it does. It makes him look really guilty, especially in Vasquez's eyes, because he doesn't trust him. He never just really trusted him.
You know what was just to jump off of that just for a second, when Art walks back into the
fully
office,
shaved.
yes,
fully shaved, he had such a look of like, last place I want to be because I know how this is going to end.
Yeah.
It was.
He looked the weight of it seemed very heavy, and it's like,
Yeah.
damn it, I'm back, and it's the same damn thing.
Yeah, except it's totally not
It's
because
bigger.
It's
bigger.
because where the hell is Raylan and the money?
And even that scene with Rachel, and it's like, and we knew it was going to happen, and it
But
did.
I like that everybody's accusing Raylan of taking the money.
Yeah.
Even Tim. You got to give me a cut of that $10 million.
Yeah, Tim.
It's just everyone thinks
But
Raylan
do you
is
think
taking the money.
Tim really thinks that? I think he's just kneeling.
No,
He's
I
just
think
asking
he's
him
just
messing with him.
he messes with him on everything. But there might be part of him that this is Tim. I'm going. It might be part of him that thinks, well, he might have, but I don't really think he would. But because it's plausible. Let's face it. He's not always above board about everything, and he skirts the law, even though he's a lawman.
Well, and that's even Rachel even talks to Art about that. Is that what you would do?
Yeah, the whole thing there. But okay, so anyway, so Art is listening to that, and he realizes, okay, everybody's career is in jeopardy here, and I got to get back. So he's saying, Raylan, get back here because you need to be back here.
Right.
You can't run point and try to do the manhunt. But which was weird because Rachel says, you're sitting me down. No, I can't sit you sideline during a manhunt because you're one of my best manhunters. Yeah, he's going to do the same with Raylan. I was like, what? So, but of course, there's good reason on a Raylan side, not on a Rachel side, because Rachel's got, she's great at what she does, but she doesn't have the headaches that Raylan causes. So here Raylan he's about to go on the helo to get up on the ridge and the whole thing, and he gets called back.
The helo with Fleur.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What that means? What does that mean?
Forward-looking infrared.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Sun's going to be a
finally.
Oh, there's that.
Finally.
So, yeah, you got to give up the chopper ride, and again, that phone call with Art. Yeah. Since you know me so well, you know the tone of my voice, and I like how he just throws the phone. God damn it!
Fun fact about the helicopter. Please tell.
Oh, I don't know if it's legit. So I think it costs more if you actually have the helicopter land. So I don't know if you noticed in the shot, it didn't actually land.
It just sort of hovered 3 feet from the ground.
So,
and then went back up.
Yeah, I've been, friends of mine. Have been
I also heard it costs a lot if you have to start it.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
If you actually shut it down and start it. So helicopters have a lot of rules.
So they paid a lot of money for this.
They do. I'm going to buy one.
Exactly.
Do you need to know how to wear it? No. Okay.
So
joystick. That's all you need.
So, but
I'm
all
pretty
this,
good at video games.
Yeah.
So everywhere Raylan turns, he's got somebody using him. So, is he?
Yeah. So who's fugitive number 1? Really? He's like fugitive number 2 practically.
Yeah. Right now.
According to Vasquez, he is.
Yeah.
So, and then. Well, let's just talk about that last scene with Art a little bit more. I just love the whole sequence. Obviously Earl, he left Earl in the car. He left his badge in the car.
Right.
And he's decided, okay, whatever I have to do next. Because he says that line to the cop in the prison. You want that great line about tarnish the badge.
Oh yeah.
And here, I love this because, if you weren't really noticing that, he's not willing to tarnish the badge. He's leaving it behind in some sense.
Good good one, John.
I just like that was there, and it was a very subtle thing, but he's not willing to tarnish the badge. So he's going out on his own. I mean,
I saw it as he's not willing to work within the badge anymore.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think he's not going to do it in the name of the law right now. Right. Not a lawman. So,
right.
That's his code. So,
by the way, that was a great scene when Earl is in the car and Raylan says, "Take your time," and he goes sits on the bench.
Yeah.
And I'm watching that and I'm thinking that's probably a lot of what they do.
Yeah, they just let them stew.
Let them stew.
And they wait. But just the job as a whole is probably just sitting around waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
Just waiting for somebody to do something stupid.
And then he's talking to Ray at the end. I'm sorry, he's talking to Art. Raylan's talking to Art, and he's saying, "So who's coming after me? Everyone." Well, you got a very high opinion of yourself. Yeah. Everyone is out looking for Boyd. No. I'll be the one
coming after you.
And I was like, oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see that the showdown, in some sense, is going to be the two of them, which is a great one because all along they've been.
It's always been father and son.
So and it's going to be father and son again. So that's there too. So that part is, I love that we've woven that theme back in there. That's terrific.
And it's when they're talking about it, again, it's what they don't say. It sounds very professional, like this is just how it is. But what they're saying is
it's very personal.
Yeah, it's very personal.
Extremely personal.
I've got my foot on your wound, essentially.
Because they never, and God, I hope they never ever dealt with last season.
Oh about
when the last time he went off the reservation.
Exactly, the way Art
cleaned up.
Yeah, exactly.
And Art knows about it.
Oh yeah, clearly.
I'm just thinking about all that stuff.
And all this stuff, killing the guy in the car. Yeah. Or allowing him to be killed. Go ahead.
Before they got there,
yeah,
he had to go to the Portal Pizza Portal.
Okay, yes.
All right.
Oh.
Love the scene.
Oh my God!
John Abnett shoots it like a classic Western.
The only thing missing was a dusty road and a church bell,
it was
man.
Great. The backlighting and him edging into the frame.
It was the small things because Raylan's ready to move by and he just moves here and then Raylan freezes and like, okay, I didn't know I'm in front of a rattler. What are we gonna do?
Yeah,
exactly.
And Boone, like I said, it's so fun to see him live in this way gone era, this other dimension but it's so real to him.
And he doesn't know who John Wayne is.
Yeah, I love this moment.
Just remember.
I love this moment.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
You can hear a goddamn pin drop.
Yeah. And then Avery tells him to pass, and this is my favorite. Boone says, "Check my balls right now. Be purple, they so blue." Be purple, they so blue. It's like, what? This is a great line.
I would just like to repeat greasy and terrifying.
Greasy and terrifying, clearly, yes. Jonathan Tucker doing an amazing job.
Fun as hell to hang with, I gotta tell you.
And eerie with Loretta earlier. Look, we don't have time to explore that.
Where he makes sure she needs to wear her seatbelt.
I believe he's a concerned citizen and he cares about his girl.
Yeah. And somehow has just co-opted her into a marriage or some alliance, shall we say, in his mind. Tuck in with us.
Also, Raylan tells Markham that Catherine's dead.
Oh yeah, twice he had to inform somebody that their loved one is dead, and they hadn't known that. I was like, well, that's weird.
Yeah, he almost gives Markham a full service.
Yeah.
I want you to dwell upon that.
Yeah, exactly.
As
you're grieving.
Yes, as you're grieving.
Yeah.
And though your loss may be deep.
Yeah, well.
Whoa, Raylan turned into a preacher.
Yeah, what was great, though.
The look on Sam Elliott's face when I watched it the second time because I knew what was coming. I was really studying his face and that subtle shift that he made. It's one of those moments that indicates a great actor. Because there was a shift and that's devastating news for him.
It honestly looked like he had heard that news right then the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I totally agree.
Yeah.
I watched it a few times too, just to see him work.
Yeah. As opposed to the first time Earl hears it. He didn't really pick up on it. Didn't pick up on it right away. Yeah, exactly.
Wait.
Did you say my brother was dead?
Both the deputy and Raylan just look at him.
Hang on a minute. Did you just say what I
said? That was a while ago, Earl.
Yeah.
But I liked also seeing the way Tim handled both of those instances because he handled it because it's the same thing. He's telling somebody that the
Olyphant, you mean?
Yeah, Tim Olyphant. I'm sorry, I'm not Gutterson.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm talking Raylan. Tim his real name. So I'm just saying that it's the same experience. Meaning, you're telling somebody that their loved one is dead, and they don't know it yet. And then in both times, he realized, oh my God, he didn't know.
Yeah.
And he did it. Obviously, you'd want to make sure that you do it differently each time because it's more interesting that way. But I just like that part of it too.
Yeah.
The subtle shift that they made on that. So, because the second, if you like, I guess I don't think he really cares, but these people are criminals, so he doesn't really care about that. So, but it seemed like at the moment he said, okay, I'm going to give Markham, he didn't know that, I'm going to give him a second, and then he launches into the...
Yeah, because regardless of whether or not you like these people, there is a certain amount of common decency you have to sort of abide by, I guess.
But he makes sure that after it sinks in, he tells Markham, all of this is on you. Yeah. So, and that's what he says, while you undergo your grieving, let that guide you as you contemplate your next move. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, we got to get out of here. Tamara, you have some shout-outs?
I have news and shout-outs.
I
actually have news. Thank you very much. I have news to report. Natalie Z rang in her new decade last month by drinking her greens. The Justified actress tweeted a picture of green tea and a green smoothie to celebrate her 40th birthday, which was March 17th. And she quipped, getting wasted on my birthday. Also, just so you know, Natalie, who plays Winona, in case you don't recognize the name, she's also been cast in a yet-to-be-titled sitcom for TBS that stars Daily Show veteran Jason Jones.
Oh, Jason, nice.
Based on the Vacation movie. Chevy Chase movie, Vacation. Okay, people, listen up. Omaze, the company known for creating fabulous Hollywood experience fundraising prizes, is offering a once-in-a-lifetime chance for one lucky viewer to see the finale of Justified before it airs.
What?
Yeah, so they get to see how the grand prize is seeing how the finale ends, getting to go to the finale screening, going to a party, toasting with Justified's Timothy Olyphant, flying to Los Angeles, and staying in a 4-star hotel.
There you go.
Chances to win this prize range from $10 to $15,000.
Whoa.
And some of them include gifts with your donation. They vary from T-shirts to autographed memorabilia to lunch with Timothy Olyphant. That's what $15,000 will get for you.
Okay.
Go to omaze.com and search Justified for more info. I tweet the link out as well. I think I just did a couple of minutes ago. The raffle benefits the Lori Titleman and Ruth Hershey Fund and the Harlan County Boys and Girls Clubs.
Nice.
So they're putting some money back into Harlan. Finally, a new collection of short stories by Elmore Leonard from early in his career will be released this summer. The book is titled Charlie Martz and Other Stories and will be published on June 16th, including 15 stories, 11 of which have never been published before.
Wow, cool.
So this is kind of exciting. And they introduce some of Leonard's recurring characters.
Hot Kid? Is Hot Kid in one of them?
The Hot Kid, I don't know. They didn't say. During his career, Leonard published 47 books, 3 of which were the inspiration for the show Justified.
Okay.
A couple of shout-outs. The Zoo Boy 111 got it right this time. Thank you for that.
Last time LLL?
I think the third. I think is what I said. And he called me on it. How am I supposed to know? A couple of wonderful reviews on iTunes that we really appreciate. Thank you so much. The 3 Row Show, Dubs 8876, which is Alan from South Carolina, who says, "I feel like a freeloader. I've been listening to your podcast since the 3rd episode, and I'm just now rating it." Mackenzie says he waits to watch Justified until the podcast is up.
Thanks.
And the thing is a couple people mentioned the wait between the time that it goes up. And here's the deal: if we had to do it right after, we wouldn't be able to do it at all. So thank you for bearing with us to get through a couple of days. Love Justified and Bort Doggy, who says I'm the MVP of AfterBuzz TV, and so I like that.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last one, Tamara.
Yeah, go to iTunes. You can read our reviews and send them to us as well.
Yeah.
Questions for VJ Boyd? Let us know if you have any. You can do it in the YouTube comments. You can also do it in tweets to me, but not to Steve.
Yeah,
please.
and let us know your thoughts, your theories on how this is all going to end and who's going to survive. We're waiting to hear that. It's all right. So we got to go. Steve, where can they find you?
Oh, Bottomley Stephen at the Twitters.
Yeah, and I'll read his tweets when I look at my tweets at Tamara Berg. Also, my website is tamaracentral.com. Thanks, you guys.
And you can find me here at AfterBuzz TV/Justified. Thanks very much for listening, everybody. We will talk to you next time.
Talk to you then.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.